Hi, I'm Deborah.
And I'm Lawrence.
And today we're going to talk about 5 reasons to fire your psychiatrist. A psychiatrist can be a wonderful, supportive, fantastic partner in treating your depression, or they can be someone who is just not quite up to par. Between us, we've had probably at least 8 or 10 psychiatrists, and we've both had psychiatrists that we weren't completely happy with. So the first reason to fire your psychiatrist is that they don't respect you. Now, obviously, this is a person who has gone to school as an expert, knows a lot more than you do about the treatment of mental illness, but that doesn't mean that you should be treated like a child who's...
You're still owed respect.
Right, and whose opinion is important.
Yeah.
So if you have a psychiatrist who is just dismissing your concerns, whatever they may be, without listening or giving you an explanation as to, why they don't agree with you, then that's not someone that you should stay with.
Yeah, I mean, I had one psychiatrist who just constantly berated me and called me an idiot. That was fun.
Yeah. The second reason to fire a psychiatrist is that they are not fully committed to your recovery. In other words, or not committed to your full recovery. In other words, if you are partially recovered from depression with a treatment, they may just say, "Oh, well, that's good enough." That's not good enough. You should be 100% recovered, or very, very, very close to it. They should not be settling for less than the best you can get. So they should be doing, trying different medications if you're on antidepressants, not getting impatient, if you've gone through 5 or 6 or 10 or however many, because treating depression is very complicated. So it's to be expected that it could take a few tries to get the right medication for you, or the right combination of medication.
If they aren't
tried
a lot.
You tried a few. I tried a few.
Yeah, if your psychiatrist isn't willing to say, "Hey, I may be getting frustrated," well, they shouldn't be getting actually frustrated.
No.
But
Remember,
if they
you're
do,
paying them.
Yeah, if they do, they should be able to deal with it. They shouldn't be like, "Oh, sure, you're not horribly depressed. Yeah, that's good enough for me."
Yeah, because it's not good enough. This is your life, and if they're not committed to your full recovery, then they're not the doctor for you, or frankly, probably for anyone. The third reason you should consider firing your psychiatrist is that they dismiss your concerns about antidepressant side effects. So if you've gained weight, if you're having a flat affect, which means that you're just not, you're feeling numb emotionally, or if there are negative side effects with your mood or your personality, sexual dysfunction, obviously most, if not all, medications, period, let alone antidepressants, have side effects, but they should be side effects that you can live with. This would mean, if the doctor is not listening to you, this would mean that they're not committed to your full recovery. So your full recovery should be not being depressed, but also not having debilitating side effects, because that's not good enough. And there are plenty of antidepressants to try, and plenty of add-on antidepressants that they can try. There are many different combinations. So you had some, we've both had problems with side effects, and it's just not acceptable if a doctor thinks that oh, it's okay if you've gained some weight because, we're treating your depression. No, there should be something out there. I was on...
They should pay attention to what's going on and not just say...
Yeah. I was on Prozac for a year, which actually the doctor put me on because my OCD was getting somewhat severe. It was before I got married for the first time, and I was very, very stressed out. So it was making my OCD worse. So he put me on Prozac, which actually was really effective with my OCD. There were a couple problems, and one of them was I just felt emotionally, I just felt numb. And he was a really good doctor. When I said to him, I realized that this has been going on, he was like, okay, well, that was for your OCD that I put you on that. So, how do you feel about going back to the one you were on, or you want to try something different? So, he listened, he respected my opinion, he understood that side effects like that were not acceptable. The fourth reason that you should consider firing your psychiatrist is that they don't keep up with developments in psychiatry. There are so many possible treatments between medication and therapy, different types of therapy, medications that, for instance, are being used off-label. For instance, I think either I or you took one that actually was for epilepsy, and an off-label use was for depression.
I think that was you.
Okay, but a doctor who's kept up with, with the developments in psychiatric medicine should know about those off-label uses and know whether they would be applicable to your situation. I mean, if they don't want to keep up with the developments in their field, then why are they...
Then they really should reconsider the field they're in.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, I had a psychiatrist who was not a psychopharmacologist, which is a type of psychiatrist that really focuses exclusively on medication, but he was really interested in psychopharmacology, so he just read up on everything because that, in his free time, because that's what he really was interested in it, and that's the way it should be. And this next reason is kind of the flip side of the last one. The fifth reason is that your doctor should want to find the best treatment for you. In other words, a new medication may come out that's cutting edge, or they may decide that there's an off-label psychiatric use for a medication that's been around, but your doctor shouldn't be thinking, hey, I've been wanting to try this on someone, so hey,
you aren't their guinea pigs.
Yeah,
you're their patients.
Exactly. So they shouldn't be, instead of thinking, oh, I've wanted to try this, then they should be thinking, okay, now what would be,
the best
option? If it happens that they think that particular one may be the best option for you, great. But they shouldn't be, I've had this happen to me too, where, it was my neurologist, and wanted me to try this new drug, and I said to your father, this just came on the market. I know it's been tested, but I don't like being the guinea pig. I want to let some other people be the guinea pig. And sure enough, a year later, it turned out that there were several people who had come down with a rare blood disorder. Turned out that 70% of the people in existence couldn't use that medicine. So, it's great when the doctor's excited about new medicine, but also remember that they're probably getting excited about it because there are drug reps coming around telling them, or they're being taken out to dinner by drug reps, or, they're being paid money to speak at a conference, not all of them, or write an article, So, just remember that the pharmaceutical industry is, we're both pretty happy that the pharmaceutical industry exists. However, that they don't necessarily have your best interest at heart, and sometimes doctors can get talked into, thinking that this is the way to go for all their patients.
Yeah.
So that's the fifth reason. And another thing I wanted to add is don't keep in mind that your psychiatrist, you can get a good psychiatrist also at a mental health clinic, one that operates on a sliding scale. There are good doctors who are not making a ton of money, and there are good doctors who are making a ton of money. And so where you're seeing the person doesn't necessarily say anything about what kind of care you're going to get. A lot of it is the person being caring and really wanting the best for their patient. And as you can imagine, that's not found just with expensive psychiatrists. There are plenty of caring people who, well, you don't see a psychiatrist, you see a nurse practitioner, and she's great, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he saw a couple people, including my psychiatrist, for his medication, and they were psychiatrists with very respectable careers and everything. But he said, "Mom, I want to see someone younger, for one thing," and so it was a great fit. So she's not a psychiatrist. She didn't go to as many years of school, but she listened to him. She respected his opinion. She asked him a lot. She spent a lot of time with you, right, when you were the first couple appointments, and that's the kind of thing that pays off. That's the kind of thing that makes a good psychiatrist or nurse practitioner or other types of medical professionals. So just keep that in mind. So we hope this video has been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
And if it has, consider subscribing to see more videos, and also consider giving us a like and commenting if you have anything that you think might be interesting, because we love to see your comments. Okay. So we'll see you next time.